Skin conditions can be multifactorial, often with no quick fix. And with a minefield of information and misinformation out there, the journey can be a long and painful one, mentally as well as physically. We took a closer look at the relationship between skin and mental health in this special report for the British Skin Foundation.
I'm Lex.
Okay, so I'm Georgia.
I'm Shannon.
3 young women all living with different skin conditions.
I've always had a relatively thick kind of afro type hair, and then I think it was probably just over a year ago that I completely lost it, or completely accepted that I had lost it, and I've been a proud, bold woman ever since.
For Shannon, it's been a struggle to reach that place. She'd have liked more psychological support from the professionals she's seen.
Recently I've had some good experiences with doctors who have been very understanding and very kind of, we do want to help you, but even then the mental health side hasn't been really integrated at all. It has been like, what would you like to try next? And I'm like, I would like to try accepting it.
Georgia's acne appeared when she was still a child.
At first I started getting just a few spots sort of around these areas on my face when I was around 7. So obviously that was pretty not normal, basically, but we just sort of I thought it was one of them things, it could be a rash, it could be anything, it'll probably go away.
It wasn't till she was in her mid-teens that she received proper dermatological treatment and was put on the drug Roaccutane.
By that point I'd been diagnosed with cystic aggressive acne. So I had cysts, there were predominantly a few on my forehead, but mainly up these strips of my face. But the entire acne, it completely covered like head down to like my waistline and down my arms to about like the elbow width.
When Lex was diagnosed with rosacea as a student, she'd never heard of it before.
It was quite strange to go into that situation thinking, oh, this will be just something that can be cleared up in like a matter of weeks, and leaving with a diagnosis of something that I would have to deal with for the rest of my life. I feel like I didn't really know how to deal with that situation, and I wasn't really offered much help.
Lex has come a long way since then, but at the time she felt completely on her own.
It was so hot and just burning all the time, and it was so distracting. I couldn't focus on my uni work, I didn't want to go out and see friends, I didn't want to do anything, and I couldn't really picture how I was meant to be a functioning person in the world, looking and feeling like that for the rest of my life.
Raising awareness of the mental health implications of living with a skin condition is something all 3 of these women care passionately about, and we brought them together to share their experiences.
It's kind of the thing that I bang the drum about the most on my blog, which is that you cannot separate skin conditions and their psychological effects. It's no matter what skin condition, I talk to so many different people with so many different skin conditions, and every single one of them has had some kind of, ramification that they've either had like anxiety or depression or something like that has come from it, where they can't separate the two. And if the doctors aren't acknowledging that, I feel like you're missing a huge chunk of what could potentially help you.
Yeah, it's a case of educating people, because I think, as we've seen, say with family and friends, I think you can sort of educate them to an extent, and it's that like anything in the world, literally, that should be passed on.
Some people do find it hard to, like, they don't know whether they should mention it, they don't know whether, like, they should not mention it, and then you can feel people, especially people who used to know me with hair, kind of like wanting to run away.
Andrew Thompson is a clinical psychologist. He contributed to 2020's report on mental health and skin disease for the all-party parliamentary group on skin.
They can be visible, they can be sore, they can be itchy, they can disturb sleep, they can require repeated appointments, applications of creams and so on. You don't really need to be a psychologist if you start to think about it to realise it's going to have a psychological impact.
Do you think at the moment that the medical profession is treating skin conditions seriously enough?
I think historically there's been an issue around skin conditions being seen as, or some elements of skin conditions, particularly conditions where there hasn't been a treatment that can resolve or cure the condition, such as vitiligo, rosacea and so on. I think historically there's been an element of those conditions being almost labelled as cosmetic. I do think that is changing. I think doctors, particularly dermatologists that work with people all the time with skin conditions, are only too aware of the impact. But I think it's knowing what to do with that impact and how to signpost people on and support them in the clinic that's missing.
What is it that needs to change when doctors see people with skin conditions and how they approach them psychologically?
Well, the biggest thing that I would like to see change that people like myself have been banging on about for the last sort of 15 years or so, and was what was front and centre stage of the all-party parliamentary group on skin last autumn, and the one before that in 2013, was we want more services. So we want investment in services for people with skin conditions. By services, I mean psychological services.
People with skin conditions get unsolicited advice frequently.
Stop using conditioner and shampoo and your spots on your face and your back and your neck, they'll go away. Like you've never sort of considered that or changed things.
Yeah, I tried that. And it's like, it's been 15 years. Do you really think I haven't Googled the same way that you have and found all these answers?
I wasn't asking for your advice. I have the doctors and I've just been to the doctor. I was asking you to listen to the fact that I am really suffering and really just want you to listen to me.
I think it's so difficult because you're right, it is often very well-meaning and people do just want to kind of pass on that knowledge.
But in the search for a remedy for their condition, skin disease sufferers can often fall prey to misinformation.
Every skin condition, according to the internet, can be cured by cutting out dairy and sugar and gluten. And that can be incredibly triggering for somebody who's got disordered eating. You know, there are things like using something like black salve to treat skin cancer. That's not going to treat skin cancer. 16 ounces of celery juice is going to cure your eczema or your psoriasis.
Anjali Mahto wants people to be aware of the risks.
And the thing with these types of kind of misinformation and, I guess, lies that come out is, at best, you're giving people bad advice, which means that they might be delaying their treatment, which is worsening their skin condition and their psychological health. Or at the other extreme, you're giving them information that they're not accessing healthcare and it's potentially fatal because they're ignoring a skin cancer.
Living with a chronic skin condition is emotionally punishing and often confusing. But with understanding and acceptance, both personal and societal, real progress can be made.
I'd say over the past few months I've been quite happy. Happy.
This is a chronic skin condition. It's not going anywhere. I can only learn to live with it and learn to control it the best I can. But if I try and fight against it and deny its kind of power, then that just feels like a losing battle.
It's still hard. It does make me anxious, and I still find it, when I'm meeting new people, I'm thinking, are they going to find it difficult to talk to me, or what are they going to think and whatever. But now I've realised that if I talk about it and I feel comfortable about it, then other people will be too.